talk about add, subtracting, multiplying polynomial functions. So most of this is review. You should remember that in order to add and subtract polynomials, you just combine like terms. Like terms have the same exponent on the same variable. So let's just do a couple quick examples. If you have negative 8d cubed minus 7 plus negative d cubed minus 6, you can combine the d cubes and get negative 9d cubed. And then combine your constants. Negative 7 plus negative 6 is minus 13. Remember, when we subtract, when you see the word from, that's your top number. So if we're going to subtract x cubed plus 7x squared minus 5 from negative 2x cubed plus 5x minus 10, we'll line up like terms as best we can, and then subtract like things. So negative 2x cubed minus x cubed is negative 3x cubed. We have no x squared in our top number, so we have 0x squared minus 7x squared to give us negative 7x squared. We have 5x plus 0x is 5x. And negative 10 minus a negative 5 is like negative 10 plus 5, which is negative 5. So you end up with negative 3x cubed minus 7x squared plus 5x minus 5. When we multiply, we distribute. The only thing I want you to think when you're multiplying is distribute. It might be single distribute, double distribute, triple distribute, but it's always going to be distributing. You are not allowed to say FOIL. FOIL is a trick. It only works with two binomials. It's not consistent. We're always going to distribute. So I'm going to give you 3 examples to try. You should pause the video after you write your examples down, try them, and then check your answers against mine. The first is negative 2x times 3x squared minus 5x plus 9. The second is x minus 7 times 3x plus 4. And the third example is x squared plus 2x minus 9 times x squared plus 3x plus 4. Pause the video, give them a try, and then check your answers against mine. In example 1, we distribute negative 2x through the trinomial. So we multiply negative 2x through. We get negative 6x cubed plus 10x squared minus 18x. There's nothing to combine, so that's your final answer. For the second example, we'll double distribute. We'll take x and multiply it through 3x and 4 to get 3x squared plus 4x, and then we'll take negative 7 and distribute it through 3x plus 4 and get negative 21x minus 28. Combine those two like terms and get 3x squared minus 17x minus 28. For the third example, we're multiplying two trinomials. We need to distribute all 3 parts of the first trinomial through all 3 parts of the second trinomial. So we'll get x to the 4th when distributing x squared through, plus 3x cubed, plus 4x squared. Now I like to line up my like terms as I multiply. So when I distribute 2x through and multiply it by x squared, I get 2x cubed. Line that up with my other x cubed term. 2x times 3x is 6x squared, and 2x times 4 is 8x. Finally, I need to multiply that negative 9 through. Negative 9 times x squared is negative 9x squared. Negative 9 times 3x is negative 27x. And negative 9 times 4 is negative 36. Because I've lined all my like terms up, I can easily combine them. I have x to the 4th plus 5x cubed. 10x squared minus 9x squared is 1x squared. 8x minus 27x is minus 19x and minus 36. And there's your final answer. Okay, there are two other ways to multiply which will be new to you. I'm giving these two as an option, and also we'll connect them with division tomorrow. So if we take two polynomials, x plus 5 times x squared minus 7x plus 2. We could distribute like we did previously, but we could also think about long multiplication. Take a little trip back in time to elementary school, and we line up our polynomials just like we would have lined up numbers in elementary school, and it's the same process because of course math is consistent. So instead of writing these next to each other horizontally, I'm going to write them vertically. And let's think about what we used to do if we had 172 times 15. We would take that 5 and we'd multiply it through all the parts, and then we'd move over a space and multiply the 1 through all the parts and add like terms. We'll do the same thing with our trinomial. So 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times negative 7x, negative 35x, 5 times x squared is 5x squared. Move over, drop a placeholder if you'd like, of 0. X times 2 is 2x. X times negative 7x is negative 7x squared. X times x squared is x cubed. Our like terms have lined up nicely. Combine them and get x cubed minus 2x squared minus 33x plus 10. Let's take that same multiplication problem and look at our second alternative method, which is using arrays. So what you'll do is you'll draw a box or a rectangle, and you'll break up the pieces of each polynomial. So on the top I'm going to put my x squared minus 7x plus 2. And on the left side I'm going to put my binomial which is x and plus 5. And then you simply go across and multiply your terms. So x times x squared is x cubed. Negative 7x times x is negative 7x squared. And x times 2 is 2x. And it's positive. 5 times x squared is 5x squared. 5 times negative 7x is negative 35x. And 5 times 2 is positive 10. Now what's neat about this is on your diagonals you have your like terms. So you kind of gather them up. And we end up with x cubed minus 2x squared minus 33x plus 10. Same answer as before because it was the same problem as before. So again, I give this as an alternative for you to multiply. For some people it really keeps them organized with their like terms, and they're less likely to make mistakes. So what I'd like you to do is try each of those new methods at least one time with previous problems we've done. So go through my answers to previous work and use those methods for practice. That's it. Good night.